As we continue our Crisis in the Classroom coverage, Fox Illinois is turning our attention to the upcoming consolidated general election on April 1st. School boards across the country have come under scrutiny for different policies and decisions, and Unit 4 is no exception. We're working for you to help you learn more about the candidates before you head to the polls. Joining me is Roselle Bhosale, one of the 11 school board candidates for Unit 4. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first we'll start off with our first question. What inspired you to run for the school board, and what key issues do you plan to prioritize if elected?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. So what inspired me to run was, I'm a Unit 4 parent, and I went in February of 2024 to make a public comment at a school board meeting. And that was my first exposure to what was going on. I never got to make my public comment, which I thought was an issue that needed the board to hear me, because it just broke into something else. And I kept going back. The next time I went, I didn't get to make my public comment again because there was no quorum. And then I went back again, and I never got to. And that started to get me to think that we have issues here and we are not being heard because our current school board just cannot get along. I have been in education for more than 20 years of my life. I value education very much, and my children are all grown right now, although I still have one in high school, so I actually have the time to invest, to do the work, and I feel everyone should be heard. So that's why I went. And what was the second part of the question?
What key issues do you plan to prioritize if elected?
Okay. The key issues, first, I think we need a functioning board to be able to listen to concerns from the community. I also feel we have a very, very high shortage of teachers, which is causing all the other problems, like the literacy problem, the substitutes just in being in classrooms. So our kids are not getting what they deserve. So I think the first thing we should address is how to aggressively recruit or incentivize or keep teachers, train them with the right things, because we are, I think, filling that problem, everything else would fall into place. That's the key thing, yes.
How do you plan to improve communication and transparency between the board, parents, teachers, and students?
This is a good question, because I myself need transparency, and I am not getting that myself. As a parent in Unit 4, my child goes to Centennial. She is super lucky to have an awesome group of teachers, administrators, support staff. I don't have complaints for her, but she's also, a junior right now. She tells me about things in school. She's fortunate to have parents that advocate for her, but that's not the case with every child. So we need to see a lot of this data. Recently, I know we have had SPED audit. I still don't know what the results are. I believe the results are out, but so I would like more transparency. As a community member, we are owed this. What is going on, things like that. So if I'm a board member, I would like to make sure that data is available for everyone, and whatever decision we make as a board, we have to be able to justify the decision, because people want to know why. Sometimes they just, you just cannot do something and don't say why. And if you say why, people will be a lot more accepting or understanding. And so right now, the communication, the understanding is not there.
Given the recent controversy surrounding the current school board, what specific steps will you take to restore trust and bring stability to the district?
So the good thing is 5 people are new, and 2 people are remaining. And I think what we have to do in the very, very beginning, before we all go on board, if I'm elected, is have a code of understanding how we are going to act as a board. because every time we fight or have a public display of whatever's going on, we are not doing the work we were elected to do, which puts our kids never in the forefront. A lot of personal issues and factions are being created. We cannot be a faction of different things. We have to be one united front. So I think the first thing we do is come to an agreement, which we are all on board with, that even if you disagree, we are going to disagree with understanding, with empathy, and not do what they're doing right now.
What is one major issue you believe the current board has mishandled, and how would you approach it differently to ensure a better outcome for the community?
Okay, so what I feel they mishandled is, I don't know really what they do behind the scenes, because they go sometimes into executive session and nobody knows what's going on there. But it's almost like every time they are in front, they just cannot agree or choose not to agree, and they have decided to pick sides. So it's very clear that there's two sides, and they're disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing almost. Because sometimes I watch the board meetings and it doesn't even make sense. Like, I feel like if they really listened to each other and understood where the other person is coming from, they could come to a consensus. But it's almost like, no, because this person said it, I'm just not going to agree. It's what it feels like and looks like. But again, I don't know what is going on in executive session, whether it's deeper, and I don't think they're allowed to talk about it. So nobody really knows what happens behind those doors. But in the public eye, it just looks like, because they said yes, I'm going to say no. So that's what I think.
Many school districts are dealing with safety issues for both students and teachers. If elected, what do you plan to do to make sure our schools are safe?
So honestly, because I've been a parent from at Unifor for a long time now, I've had one already graduate in 2020. I do feel the safety has become better from my previous child who graduated in 2020. You know, they have put in metal detectors in the schools, which I think it's so much better now. The administration, at least the school that I'm most familiar with, Centennial, you know, the new things that they have implemented, the hall monitors, the regular checking and everything, it's only gotten better. So I hope across the board we can have similar things in all schools, whether we need to increase security people or hall monitors or things like that, because children need to be watched at all times and no one should be left unattended to. So if classrooms are filled, this is a big thing, because sometimes classrooms are not filled. Having subs every day can be a little bit of a problem. I know subs, sometimes things happen, we have to have them, but consistency with the same adults, enough adults in the building, metal detectors, you know. Another thing I was thinking about is also clear backpacks, but we don't have this problem anymore. I feel it's gotten a lot better, so.
Okay, and this is my last question for you. If elected, will you continue to support the anti-racism policy the district has put in place?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a person of color myself, we have always been in situations, you know, that's a little bit difficult. I teach my children to advocate for themselves. And sometimes we just have to always advocate, and anti-racism is very, very important. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was my last question.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to watch more videos from Fox, Illinois.